I wanted to do a Kylie Jenner partless slick back, but I failed to with this hair. So the next best thing was for me to don on a wife beater, or as they call it on TikTok, a Kylie Jenner YT, because these girls have been living under a rock and they don't know that these things have been here before Kylie Jenner. Do you know what we actually call a partless slick back in South Africa? We call it a pushback. It is a pushback. Keep pushback, guys. Keep pushback. And it's been here. I mean, my gran has been wearing that hairstyle since, forever. Maybe she's the revolutionary. Hey, hey, hey.
I want you to sing my name. I know a lot of you don't know me. My name is Lebo. It's very simple. This is what you say. Lebo, Lebo, Lebo.
Welcome to Lights on It Levy. Now, this is a show we shine a spotlight on the culture and everyone that you should know or already know. Now, superstars, have you guys seen that new feature from Instagram? The one that I say that should have been close friends? It is called Locket. Oh my gosh. It is actually Locket. It looks like Locket. So crazy. It really looks so identical to Locket. And it also is giving Be Real, the Be Real app. Yes, but basically what it is you post a picture, but you can't edit the picture and people can't screenshot that picture. And it stays there for like 24 hours, which is why I'm saying it should have been close friends, because that is what close friends should have been. Because now we want to post on close friends, but hey guys, let's screenshot and then send to group chats. So instance is what close friends is or should have been, but it really looks identical to Locket. Even Locket was like, what? Is this play about us? Because it really is about you guys, Locket. But alas, Instagram is trying to save themselves from crumbling because people aren't feeling Instagram like, it isn't as it was back in your 2010s. It is, honestly, guys, it gives people anxiety. It gives people anxiety. People are only posting their curated feeds, they curate their feeds and they just post aesthetic pictures. And Akira, you guys keep saying that there's low income Instagram. So people aren't feeling Instagram like they should. So that's why Instagram is scrambling. But I don't think this is gonna bring people to Instagram. Maybe it will, maybe it will. Let me give it a chance. I'll come back to you guys in a month and tell you how it is. But let's get into hot topics.
Let's get started. It's time for what? Got it.
Now let me give you guys an update to last week's topic, which is James Charles. He has since apologized to the Spirit Airline worker about his rant on social media, and he might have done so because his peers and a lot of people have been donating to her GoFundMe, including Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who has donated $500 to her GoFundMe. And a lot of people have been supporting this woman because it is crazy, we do have a duty. They do say, as humans, we do have a duty to support one another. And this girl reached out, people say, what is this thing? There's this quote that says something along the lines of, a quiet child starves. I don't know, but some child on the back, if the child is quiet on the back of their mom, then I think it's in Sotho actually. I don't know. I might have to ask my mom about it. But quiet mouths aren't fed or something like that. Whatever. But yeah, so he has since apologized, but he apologized in private. He sent a private DM to the worker saying that he is apologizing and he shouldn't have done that and whatever. But the worker did not accept that apology, and I'm so glad that she didn't, because you're not about to humiliate me in public and then come in private and tell me how sorry you are, whatever. No, I think it's best that he does so in public too. He should apologize in public. But a lot of people have been can't even say that they are waking up to James Charles, because James Charles has been problematic and has always been problematic. But that's why I say that, cancel culture is selective, because some people like James Charles, they aren't even educated, they aren't even, shown the way or whatever. Or, how cancel culture portrays itself as, because right now he is sitting on, I think, 4 million and is still sitting on 4 million followers. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to say that this will be a learning curve for him, but there's been so many instances, guys. So many. James Charles has been, there's been so many. Like, so many. But let's move on. A step for the community. Well, kinda. Publications have been running with the story that King Charles III has banned conversion therapy, and that is not really the case. What happened was he was reading off a proposed bill, which was first promised in 2018 and is still pending legislative review, parliamentary review. And I don't know, it's been such a long time that I do feel like this should... Honestly, why are conversion therapies actually still here? Why do we still have conversion therapy camps? Like, those do not work. They do not work. Please don't actually fool yourself and think that they do. They do not. No, they do not. That is just a torture chamber. So please, can we ban them? King Charles III and the government of the UK ban those camps. But let's move on.
She's bald. She's bald and she's torturing people who have hair.
So Maria McCloy has passed on, and she was actually a curator of the culture. She literally had her hands in everything. She was in PR, media journalism, fashion and accessories, and she was also a DJ and part of the nightlife culture. She was doing it all, and a lot of artists actually credit her for opening doors. Like, her production company was the reason why we have Reason. Excuse the pun, but it's the reason why we had Reason and Proverb. And a dope person, which I actually forgot, but I was reading this article, and she was just, this main thing. And also, maybe Joe Nina was singing about her in Ding Dong, that's the man. But you don't know, because he might also be singing about my mom, because my mom's second name is Podestra. So it might be about my mom, But yes, back to Maria McCloy. She was really such a cultural influencer, and it is actually sad, losing someone so huge at the age of 50. She was actually 50, so she wasn't actually, old. She was actually kind of young. Really young, but it is really a really sad story. So condolences to her family, of course, but let's move on. Have you guys been watching the Makhenes? Let me know in the comments down below. But have you? Well, I have, and I love it. I really do love it. And I do say that the Makhenes are South African pop culture royalty, just like the Mhlongos. They are, just knowing that Latoya's dad is actually the legendary Blondie, And Latoya's career, Latoya Makhene, I will say that her career does give similarities to Zendaya and Keke Palmer, Like, I just feel like her career is that of them, but because it's South Africa and we don't have the infrastructure, to sustain careers like that, But if we did, her career would literally be like Zendaya and Keke Palmer's, because she has been a child actress, a child star, knowing that she's also a singer, and and she's beautiful, she is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I was just looking at her right now at the Makhenes, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my Latoya, you are still so beautiful. But now, Latoya, I have a problem with you, because I need you to release Welcome My Brothers, or whatever it's called, from Bones 2 something. So is it Bones 2? I think it is from Bones 2. But I have heard that she is the one that sings it, and I do want her to release it because her voice is heavenly in that.
Welcome, my brother.
But I am bringing them up because Latoya's boyfriend, baby daddy, has gone to Engineer Your Life with Lungelo and is basically saying what Lebo said when she was on there.
Latoya ngasusungis khati amanga, she lies, that girl. You. Latoya's lies. Yes.
Now, I don't know, but you know what? Girl, I just need Latoya to remember who she is, which is Latoya Makhene, a legend. She is a legend. She is. Let's not actually get that twisted. She is a legend, and I need her to remember that and just stay in her power, because now why are all these people crying about her, you know? Why are all these people so determined to drag her name in the mud? Yes, that's that's what I wanted to say, but why are they so determined to? And maybe, you know, I guess she is a liar, because people are saying that I mean, now it's two people that are saying the same thing, but why are they going on the same podcast that is giving fishy? But it is two people that are saying the same thing, you know, so maybe, you know, that habit is hard to break and everything. But I am enjoying watching the Makhenes. It is very behind. I mean, it is a reality show, so they are very behind on schedule. And not behind on schedule, it is right on track. I'm just saying that reality TV is shot many moons ago, you know, like many months ago, not moons, but many months. And so we haven't seen the deterioration. No, I just can't hear my R. Deterioration. Oh my gosh. But after a relationship, yes. But like I said, Latoya, she needs to release that song. And she also needs to remember that they are South African pop culture royalty. The Makhenes, the Mhlongos, they are. Let's move on. So I watched the roast of Kevin Hart, and that's why it actually took me time to make this video, because it took me so long to get through that roast. You know, it took me 2 days to get through that roast. And let me know if you did. Let me know down in the comments below if you watched the roast and what you thought about it. But I watched the roast, and let's get into it. There's a lot that we need to talk about that roast. Firstly, I want to tell you guys about the people that were there, you know. Should I list them? I think I'm going to list them first, and then I'm going to get into it. So we had the Roots as the band of the night. We had Asha come out, Shane Gillis, Jeff Ross, Lizzo, Pete Davidson, Draymond Green, Big J Okerson, Tiana Taylor, Tony Hinchcliffe, Cheryl Underwood, Regina Hall, Kate Williams, Serena and Venus Williams, Dwayne Johnson, and Kevin Hart, the main guy, the host. Not the host, the main guy. The person that is being roasted. But now let's get into it. So, okay, Roots was the band. I actually think they did an exceptional job. They did such a great job, you know, like, oh my gosh. And then Asha was our opening act, you know, to call in Kevin Hart. You know, he called in Kevin Hart, and actually liked his section. I really did. I liked, he sang, he didn't, you know, roast. He did do a roast, you know, sing-songy roast with the song Burn. His song Burn, changed up the lyrics and sang that. And that was actually a good thing. I liked it. I really did like it. So I don't have anything to say about Asha. All I can say is that he held his own. We had Jeff Ross. Oh no, we had Shane Gillis. Why am I skipping? We had Shane Gillis. And that's where it went downhill. It really did go downhill. Shane Gillis did say, opening up, said that they did allow them to be racist, you know, openly racist. And I was like, hey, I hope it's not going to be giving Doja Cat in those chat rooms. And it did. It was actually worse. It was actually worse, because now I'm like, why would he actually did say that it took him 3 weeks to actually think about if he should really say what he said about Kevin Hart being lynched from a bonsai tree.
Kevin's so short that they're going to have to lynch him from a bonsai tree. That was 3 weeks of deliberation on that joke. Look, I understand how serious the word lynch is, but bonsai is so funny.
And he said it because a bonsai tree, you know, the name bonsai tree is actually funny. And he knows that the lynching word is actually not funny. And I was like, then why would you say it? Why would you bring it up? And this is not even me being sensitive. I don't think I'm sensitive. I do think that the 2020s have made people sensitive, and I don't think that I have gone into that sensitivity. Yes, there are some things that I'm like, and this is one of them. Lynching is a serious word. Lynching is what they would do to slaves back in the 1800s and in the 1900s. what they would do to them, for their crimes and whatever, they would hang them from a tree. That is lynching. And sometimes they wouldn't even be doing that because they were criminals or whatever. They would just be doing that for fun. And that is lynching. So it is problematic, but I don't know who okayed it. I don't know who okayed for them to be racist, to be openly racist. I don't know if it's Kevin Hart's team, Netflix, but we have a problem. But let's get into it, Jeff Ross. I really did like how Jeff Ross was. He wore Eddie Murphy, he came dressed as Eddie Murphy. And the song, the song that he played, I forgot to research. I said I'm going to research the movie that song was from, because I wanted to tell you guys that song gives me traumas. It does. Like that movie from Eddie Murphy, I forgot what the movie's name is because I've never watched it after that. I only watched it because we had forgot what it is. Is it a cassette player? There was a cassette. It's a cassette, right? The film, the big film stack thingy where you heard it and then click. Yeah, I think it's a cassette. I forgot what it is if it's not. But we had it on VCR. We had it on VCR. And I played it once and I was 10, 11, probably there. And that movie just scared me. To me, that was a horror. That was a horror movie. And the only thing I remember from it is that there was, I think the final scene was at an amusement park and he was trying to save this child from falling from the roller coaster, whatever that was. And I'm just like, that movie scarred me for life. So I don't remember that movie well, but I do remember that song. And I've never watched it since. And don't think I will. Maybe I will to heal my inner childhood. We had Lizzo too. Lizzo was okay. I did like her coming in with the, dwarfs. The people that have dwarfism. I don't know if that's allowed, if I'm allowed to say that or whatever. Pete Davidson was there. Nothing stood out with regards to Pete Davidson. The only thing that they brought up was Kim Kardashian and his many escapades, I guess. How he bags all the women, all the baddies, which I also want to know. How Pete Davidson bags it. But I think it might be because of his package.
I know his dick is big. I know it. I know it's big. I mean, oh God, my heart hurts.
I think so. Draymond Green, people are booing him, and it's reminiscent of Kim Kardashian at the roast, which she was also getting booed. I forgot whose roast it was. Big J. Okerson, not memorable. Tiana Taylor, I'm so sorry. Body T, she looked really stunning, really amazing, not memorable. Tony Hinchcliffe, Cheryl Underwood. With roasts, my thing with roasts, and this is why also Kim Kardashian said she would never do a roast, but I'll tell you why Kim Kardashian said she will never do a roast. Part of it is also because she was booed. But with roasts, people are mean. The jokes are mean. The jokes are... I don't find roasts funny. Let's get that straight. I don't find roasts funny. That's why it also took me like 2 days to get through it, because I don't find roasts funny. I've watched Helen Zilla's roast. I've watched, I don't remember who else's roast, but I think this is the third roast I've watched. And I don't find them funny because the jokes aren't funny. The jokes are just mean. And I don't think people are really laughing. I think, that meme where the person has like a mask, where the mask is like nonchalant or whatever, but inside they're like crying or whatever. I feel like the people sitting there I feel like they are laughing through it, but they really don't think they're funny. I think the only person that was really portraying what a roast actually sounds like is Regina Hall. Like, she wasn't laughing, she was me. She looked beautiful. Firstly, let me say that she looked absolutely stunning. And I love that no one touched her. I love that no one could diss her. Because that's when you run a strict program. I was like, okay, she runs a strict program. No one is touching her. Which is exactly how it should be. No one should be playing games with you. But that's what I'm saying about roast. They're not funny. People are mean. People are saying stuff. So Cheryl Underwood, the jokes that were directed to her were, you know, basically people saying that she looks like a man or she's ugly or whatever, you know. And then with did I write her? I forgot. With Chelsea, yes, with Chelsea, they would say that, okay, what I said that Kim Kardashian, why she wouldn't do a roast is because of what they were also saying to Chelsea. They were saying Chelsea, you know, she's been with so many men, she has done so many abortions and whatever, you know, those kinds of jokes, you know, because yeah, so that's what happened also with Kim Kardashian, you know, when she was at that roast. They would come for her, you know, about the many men she's been with and all that, her sex tape. Because they can't come up with anything else, you know. That's why I'm saying the jokes aren't funny, because it's things that you already know, you know. Things, I mean, Kevin Hart, they were coming for him being short and he's alleged homophobic and also homosexual stuff, you know, because there is that running joke of him and Dwayne Johnson being but I don't really believe that. I would tell you if it was true, but I don't get that vibe from them. I really don't. I'm not lying, I really don't. And people are like, oh, he looked bricked up, you know, standing up from being next to Dwayne Johnson, and Dwayne Johnson saying you should suck his, you know, which I don't know how Dwayne Johnson does it. Yeah, I don't know how to, you know, do that whole thing. But, you know, people are saying, oh, you know, look, Kevin Hart stood up and is now bricked up. But I don't see that. I looked. It didn't look bricked up to me. Maybe Anwar White can step up, you know, because I come from this school. I'm a graduate at Anwar White School of, what is it? School of, I forgot what he was, Catching Print. School of Catching Print. So I was like, no, I don't think so. But anyways, like I said, you know, the jokes aren't funny and like that, because even in South Africa, I think it was the Helen Zilla one, I said I'm gonna go refresh my memory, but I don't even remember who it was. But they were saying the same jokes that they said to Chelsea and to Kim Kardashian to her, you know, the many men that she's had and whatever. But they'll never say that with the men. They didn't say that with Pete Davidson. They just asked them how he bags the baddies, because that's accurate with the men. They will ask you, oh, dog, you know, you bag all the baddies, you know, oh, he's changing women, you know, like, oh, and he's, you know, can, because, you know, he changes women. But if you're a woman doing that, you know, she's a hoe, she's a slut, she's, you know, all those kinds of things. Guys, I'm not even gonna get into all that. We had Cat Williams also. I think Cat Williams wasn't, honestly, who do I think was, I think Cheryl Underwood, Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, those are the three that I can say were good. They were okay. They were standouts. They were my standouts, you know. They kind of made me laugh a bit. So I was like, okay, those are, you know, the good ones. Serena and Venus Williams, you know, they came to honor him, and I also think they were okay. They were not too bad. But yeah, that was the roast for me. Horrible. Yeah, it was a hard to watch kind of thing. The racist jokes were not even funny. They were actually blatantly disrespectful. He even said, Shane Gillis did say, oh, I thought you guys would laugh at that. And I'm like, at what? Me and Drizzy laughed at that. But at what? Like, nothing was funny with that roast. Like I said, I don't think roasts are funny. I would never do a roast. Personally, I would never do a roast. And I feel like Regina Hall was just regretting, you know, she was like saying there like, oh, nothing is funny here, you know. I'm just here for the money. Cat Williams was saying that he's there for the money, but Regina Hall was there for the money. Like, tell me, Regina Hall, come sit, you know, come, my dear. Sit next to me and tell me, did you really enjoy that roast? Or did you regret your decision? Tell me, girl. You can even tell me in the comments, but I need you to come sit next to me so that we can catch up and talk, you know, and talk about your iconic roles. Cindy!
The TV is leaking!
I love me, Regina Hall. I love her to bits, and she was so hot. But anyway, let's move on. Now, superstars, that is it for our show this week. Let me know what you thought, and please do like and subscribe. But I will be coming back to you guys this Sunday. Actually, this Sunday, I am being serious this time. This Sunday, and I will be coming with the Gucci Resorts review. I want to see all those looks, and I also want to see who was there. I already have seen quite a few people. I've seen Kim Kardashian was there. I've seen Shawn Mendes. I've seen Mariah Carey. But I do want to watch it, in great detail and come back with that. And maybe you guys can also watch it and let me know what you think when I drop it on Sunday. But I'll see you guys this Sunday. Mwah.